But what I can really say is the time of the pandemic when we were all in the house and stuff, that was literally the perfect opportunity
to start the podcast.
No, well, yeah, like to boom social media.
Hi everyone and welcome back to the Waliberali show. I am your host today, Tankiso, and today we're talking about a somewhat controversial subject, COVID. So many people have different beliefs about COVID. So my very first questions, there's like a lot of people think that COVID wasn't real. Do any of you think that it wasn't real?
Let's call it the vid.
The vid.
Yeah, let's say the.
It's gonna get censored, so we
So
can't
the
say
vid.
COVID.
I don't think they're striking.
Okay, so do you guys think that it was real?
No.
What do you guys mean by it was real?
People think that it was a hoax.
Let me.
But we got sick. What do you mean?
You got.
Let me tell you.
Everyone gets sick daily.
I forgot the real word. I think they're called somatic diseases, right? Where when you tell yourself in your mind that you're like really sick, then
You end up becoming sick.
it's like a real. It's like a real thing.
Placebo,
It's like a real thing. So I believe, right, that COVID was real. But I genuinely think it was like just a bad flu. Like genuinely, I think it was just really blown out of proportion.
I don't think it's even.
But I mean, people died because of it. But I personally
no,
want
you
to
don't.
say,
Who do you know that died?
Let me
Genuinely
think about
though,
the
like,
dying also.
What are the? Do you guys even know?
If you guys look at the stats, like the majority of people that died from COVID, people who are old.
Exactly.
And
second of all-
realistically, people who are old will die from. Bro, come on, bro.
No, you can't say that though, because if an old person gets the flu,
flu.
I don't expect my grandma, if she's old and she gets the flu, I don't expect her to die. So, but okay, a bad flu,
but it
a bad flu, but it wasn't a
but
bad
we have to take in consideration that the elderly are not that strong to fight these particular diseases.
No, I just like
So,
to say that
in general,
people
they'll
that
get
died.
affected. you get me?
a thing, guys.
But people that died also from like COVID, I think it was like their immune system was already a bit struggling, and then already the force of COVID
But that's what they said,
pressed
though,
it down.
guys.
I'm not saying that COVID didn't exist, but I'm just saying that a lot of older people died because their immune systems were weaker.
And
I
plus they had, like,
personally, I personally saw it coming. I didn't see it coming, but the year before COVID like properly struck,
The 19.
everybody was, I don't know, everybody was having a really intense flu with an intense headache. Like it was coming, right? And then the year after, COVID hit. So I really do think it's an intense flu. It was like just a virus of like
A stronger strain.
like a really strong
I
strain.
think the chat is that it was literally, we'll put in a pandemic. It was named
like,
a pandemic.
if you got-
if you look at other pandemics had like fatal like
results,
like you would die. Like if you had it, like
people
you
would
die.
turn
There's a high
pale.
chance that you would die.
People would turn pale.
Like
Like
everybody who got COVID, like a lot of us,
we were chilling, bro. Like we're chilling.
You guys,
Like-
you just said immune system has something.
No. But I'm saying, okay, let's say,
you think it's
is there
a
something
mental
called the
thing?
Black Plague, right?
100%. Yeah.
Even if I was young and I had the Black Plague, there was a high chance that I was gonna die. Like there would be way more.
So you're saying
No, that's what I'm trying to say. It was a pandemic. The Black Plague was a pandemic.
I don't
this
think-
is named a pandemic.
No.
It didn't need to be
I
named
don't-
a pandemic.
Second of all,
The word pandemic, like the reason it was a pandemic is not because a pandemic isn't called a pandemic because of how bad it is. It's because of how it's
How
not
far
called a
it gets, yeah, no,
pandemic because of how bad it is. That's why it's called a pandemic because it was a worldwide
thing. Well agreed.
like
Well
it's
The
a
Black
agreed.
epidemic.
Plague was an epidemic or pandemic?
What?
The Black Plague. Was that an epidemic?
It's an
or a
epidemic.
pandemic?
It's if it's in the
In the
specific
same
country,
region,
yes. And then pandemic is
So it was
worldwide.
A pandemic.
yes.
And plus, like I think the what's this? The death toll was like blown out of proportion. Like way blown out of proportion. We can go on
Yes,
Google.
obviously the statistics weren't 100% correct because now they were taking.
How can you actually say that and actually think the COVID is real? You just said that. The
the reason why I
statistics
think
were-
COVID is real is because I know people who have been killed by COVID. That's why I'm saying it's
Okay.
real. So I'm saying that the statistics aren't 100% correct because there are people who have died from other sicknesses.
And
but
they
just put it in there. Yeah.
But that's because of money.
How
That's
is that normal,
That just
though?
happens in the way.
Propaganda.
Like that's just how it is.
But
guys.
how can?
question.
It doesn't make it not real though.
When you guys are saying COVID is not real, are you saying that it was man-made and given to us, or it wasn't a?
It was
flu?
like an idea.
Real chats, COVID was something inside of me literally says that it was like manufactured in some lab.
It was definitely manufactured.
You know what I mean?
definitely.
And
But I
something
feel-
happened
okay.
where it just got leaked and then.
But every disease is kind of manufactured.
But also,
as
what
well.
if that was like a population control mixed system?
Also, if you think that it was man-made, why do you think it's not real?
No.
Me, when I say it's not real, I don't mean like there wasn't a
disease
virus, there
happening,
wasn't.
yeah.
But
What did you?
the vid pandemic, like the whole thing around it was
just
like
blown out of proportion.
that whole period in time was just like 80% of it was like just a hoax and like drama.
and how
yeah.
can-
and then like
So it was blown out of proportion. That's
And
what you guys are saying.
don't you ask
Like,
yourself? Don't you ask yourself these questions? That isn't it coincidental that it's not. First of all, COVID came just before June. Get me? It came before June. A specific season that's well known for
it was March.
flu.
Yeah.
March,
literally,
April, May.
literally
like,
winter. Literally
That's when we had a lockdown.
lockdown.
Yeah, that's when it went
That's not
into
with
lockdown.
COVID.
Yeah,
actually.
hit
Okay, when
us.
was the first case?
Sorry.
It was in March.
The first case.
documented case
It was in March. Here in South Africa, it was in March.
When did we get the official lockdown? And when the lockdown started?
End of March.
Wasn't it June?
End of March was
No.
So are you saying that
It was 1 week. It was
Google,
1 week
Google,
before.
Google.
25th of March. It was 1 week.
Nah,
before-
24.
it
We
was
had this conversation.
I don't know
We
how
had
about
this
you ask Google. She knows best.
It was the week after schools closed. We
One
had
week
this
before
conversation.
schools were gonna close. It was 1 week before schools were gonna close.
Yes.
Schools were closing on 25th
We,
of March. So it was on
we had
15th
this
of
conversation.
March.
They closed
I remember-
schools on the 18th of March,
Yeah.
and then COVID started on the 25th. Like no, lockdown started on the 25th of March. Like official 20.
So, Google says that on the 23rd of March, a national lockdown was announced starting on the 27th of March 2020. The first local death from the disease was reported on the 27th of March 2020. And then on the 21st of April, a 5 billion rand stimulus was announced in response to the pandemic.
So when was
That's
the
what Google
lockdown?
says. It started on the
27th.
So it
27th.
began there. Okay.
So what do you guys think the
23 was
point?
announced.
23
27.
March.
They said 27.
27 is when it
Start.
started.
What do you think the point is?
What do you guys think? Like,
Did they try
it's
to
man-made.
accomplish? Yeah.
What were they trying to do by
Population
having us inside
control.
the house?
Population
like
control first of all.
Yeah.
Second of all, do you guys realize that all the billionaires that we like the wealth creation like gap between the poor and the rich got higher. Like the billionaires of
Yeah.
the billionaires of the real
got
billionaires
richer.
got richer
Yeah.
and the poor got poorer.
How do you think that happened? Like,
I mean, if you stop the economy, if you stop people from moving around, from getting jobs, something, of course it's gonna affect the economy. Yeah.
I'm gonna use Johnson and Johnson. You know the baby, the one that makes. Look at them. They literally made they made a what do they call it? No. What do they call it?
A vaccine.
They made a vaccine and then they stopped making a vaccine out of nowhere. They just immediately stopped making a vaccine. So they literally made a vaccine. They made the first. They didn't. Remember, it was Johnson and Johnson, and then there was Pfizer. Pfizer was the double jab. Johnson and Johnson was the one jab.
Yeah.
But then in the middle of COVID, when everyone was like, the vaccine was officially like people must start taking vaccines. Johnson and Johnson stopped making vaccines. It was only Pfizer that you could get a vaccine properly from. And that's when I realized that this was actually a ploy.
Yeah.
It was a ploy to make.
why would it have been a ploy? What do you mean?
It was a ploy in a sense because like Johnson and Johnson in my eyes, they got richer. They got the money that they needed to make, and then they just
went out of it.
all of a sudden they just
And Pfizer.
And these vaccines were not properly
Yeah.
investigated or
Like
in terms of
Pfizer.
being prepared. You get me?
I don't know if it was last year or it was early this year. There were documents that were released. Pfizer didn't want to release these documents officially, and then when the authorities found out, they were forced to release these documents. It was like I don't know how many pages where it was just side effects that were never released to the public. The public didn't know, but it was just pages and pages and pages of side effects from
They were
the
not
vaccine.
even they were not even documented by all the news, but all the
And then
news was just trying to project.
It also
COVID
came
thing.
out that the vaccine was never like 90%. It was never that whole thing was never real. Like it was never.
Can I ask you guys?
Yes, that's true.
So, can I ask a question? Do you guys believe that, you see how you guys are talking about the vaccine, right? Do you guys believe that because it was made so quickly, it can't obviously be effective? Like, for example, diseases that have been here for such a long time, like HIV and TB and all that, why is it taking so long for them to create a vaccine for that? But then something that all of a sudden just showed up.
It's
All of a
because-
sudden,
And
it's
now
like
they
the
have a vaccine
vaccine.
for it all
Do
of
you
a
guys
sudden.
believe in
They were
that?
gonna
You
make
see what I
And
mean?
and certain things also, like I feel like
Yeah.
HIV
Those chronic diseases.
has a vaccine, but money. Like now, imagine if Pfizer or whoever has to actually give out a vaccine. How like they're not generating money from ARVs and all of that. So it's also a thing of like, yeah, like even like cancer. I believe there
There's a cure.
is,
Yeah.
but now,
It's not profitable.
yeah, like
That's
now
why me, I don't
vaccine.
trust Western stuff, like Western medication.
Western medication.
It literally makes you worse than what.
That's so true.
Yeah, because
That is so true.
the pharmaceutical companies,
They
tryna-
profit from-
yeah,
Yeah,
tryna-
they have to make money. Yeah.
They said it's a pacifier, so they're just trying to keep you sick.
Yeah, and plus also like, don't you also think like don't you believe in coincidences? Like how is that COVID is not actually far off from flu? Like it's not. It's literally the same.
That's why
Like, it's the
that's
same-
why
like,
it was
why- like,
mentioned.
don't you
It was
think about-
mentioned that
don't-
it's just it's a stronger strain of
Yeah,
of
influenza.
flu.
But
That's
You know what I
literally.
mean?
Literally.
So aren't there any like chemical changes or compositions?
What
Nothing,
do you mean?
nothing different to what you get
no,
from
but
flu.
it's
Like
not,
from an influenza virus?
No,
Is
no,
there
no.
not-
There's
is
no.
there
There
structural
is.
difference
There are.
in functional. Yeah. Yeah.
There is a difference between flu and COVID, guys. Come on,
Now there is a
there
difference.
is.
What's the difference between the two?
I think when you sick, like when you have COVID, you feel the difference. So, for example, I've had flu before. Can I say something?
Let us
Let me
speak.
say something, right? I've had COVID, right, and I've had flu as well. For me, COVID was like so much more intense than flu. So it was like you want to sleep all the time. Like all the time. You have this headache that's just, it carries on. You drink painkillers, nothing happens. I couldn't taste anything. So everything just tasted like mashed potatoes that had no salt. Literally. I couldn't smell anything. And it's like my whole body was just aching all the time until like, eventually it wears off and then you become better. But then also COVID has its after effects. Like even now, sometimes I have like problems breathing, right? It's just like, it has its after effects even if you have you've healed from it. And unlike flu, flu, you're gonna cough, you're gonna be fine. And then you're gonna forget about it. But COVID, there's still that thing that's like your body is not like what it was
My mom had
before.
COVID and she had the worst after effects after having COVID. Things that you wouldn't get after having a flu.
Yeah.
Like she had anxiety, she had heart palpitations.
Yeah,
Like that's just like COVID. It's from COVID. It's not like she took any Western medication or anything like that. Like it's
Just
things
let
that
it
you.
just let it play through.
Well,
Yeah,
can I pose a question for everyone?
I want-
Who actually did get the vaccine?
I didn't.
me.
I'm not gonna get one. Sorry. But I didn't.
Okay, because then my belief, because when you get the vaccine, it's literally they have to jab a subsection of COVID, so they literally put
Yeah.
some COVID into you,
Yeah.
into your.
Yeah,
So
that is a vaccine.
if you, I realized that when I got the vaccine, I felt that I was never sick. I was never sick.
continuously
Now
sick
all of
all
a
the
sudden,
time.
that I'm getting these.
All of a sudden,
I'm getting headaches. I'm getting. I
That's
can't.
so true,
I was
bro.
told that I can't drink alcohol for like 48 hours, and then if I do, then I'm gonna
or
get the virus. But that does not make sense to me because it's like why did you put that inside of me?
the effects of COVID, like of the vaccine is like it's been documented. Like my mom personally is not a person who gets high blood pressure. She eats well, not necessarily eats well, but she doesn't drink. She doesn't do all those stuff. Just about a month ago or 2 months ago, she's all of a sudden got high blood pressure. And also coincidentally, there's a certain characteristic that follows with people that have got the vaccine that at that particular age, all of a sudden high blood pressure, bash up, all of a sudden high blood pressure. You can't explain how it
I
got
don't
there.
even think it's just. I don't think it's just from the vaccine. I think after having had COVID yourself, you are more susceptible to everything else. Do you understand? Oh, I remember what I was saying. Okay, so you guys are saying that you're saying that the vaccine, like after having taken the vaccine, you're more susceptible to things, and I think the whole COVID thing as well. After
course
having
you'll be.
had COVID from scratch,
Okay.
now your body is just like weaker. Like you can literally.
Yeah.
I think normally when the flu season comes, you only get flu once, right? Now you're getting it like 6 times in that same.
Bro, I'll be
in
getting
that
it in
same
summer.
season. Do you understand what I mean? And it's like a lot of things. Also now I have symptoms of sanitizers. You know what I mean? I never had such things before. You know what I mean? Every morning I sneeze 7 times. I don't understand what's going on, But it was just after flu. So I think after
those are
COVID,
not
I think what they were
normal, bro.
doing is giving us the vaccine. What I think the vaccine was, if not giving more COVID, like so it can carry on longer, it literally was just juice.
Okay, let me ask you guys a question. Actually, do you guys actually believe that the government or the people who actually made the vaccine actually care about you? Like they took all.
It's a money
Obviously no. Obviously no, they don't care about us. That's like out of the question. That's out of the question.
Listen, did Africa as a continent get like cash injections and vaccine donations and all that? Did we get that?
Debt levels
Yeah.
have went high because of the COVID.
At what level?
Debt levels.
Most people that
African countries.
most people that passed had the vaccine.
Most?
Yeah, most people that passed had the vaccine.
Not gonna lie, like my experience with the vaccine was wild. What is it? It was the Johnson, because I just wanted to get one jab
That's it.
and dub. And then I got it, and then after that, they put us in like a sick area for like 10 minutes or 15 to see if you're still okay.
They want
And
to see
then-
reactions.
Yeah, nah, they did. And then after that, I was like, nah, I'm good. And then we drove home, got posy. After we got home, I think it gave me like 30 minutes. After that, I was out. Body heat, like I had a fever, but I was cold. Like I was hot, but I was cold. Like I was hot, cover myself, but I was still like shiver, but like I'm hot. And then I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I had to ask my mom for cuddles because you're. And then we got cuddles, and I was like next day.
What a bitch. What a bitch.
What kind of bitch, bro? What kind of bitch?
Don't.
But I think with
Bad
like
Nah,
That's a dumb like that.
but also another thing, guys, and a lot of people like won't agree. I don't know if did you guys get the vaccine? Did you guys see that like you could like it was magnetic?
Oh, I also TikToks about that. I never actually.
I didn't do it.
It was magnetic. My whole family, we literally had 2 rand coins on our
I think I saw
sleeve.
you post on your
They're
status.
pumping shit,
Yeah,
bro.
you posted that on your status.
I posted
yeah.
on my status,
Yeah.
and I remember I told my biology teacher. I was like, "Yo, it's actually kind of magnetic." And she's like, "Nah, trash."
No,
trash,
you
trash,
can't
trash.
really
And I was
tell
like,
the older generation.
Hey,
You can't really tell
the older generation. My
stuff like
grandmother had.
that. No, they're gonna be in denial. That's what I'm trying to say. Like
Like,
they're
so
gonna
you can't
find
tell your
every
bio
point.
teacher, like-
Yeah.
I get what you mean, but it was magnetic as well. Like I didn't understand why vaccine was
Like,
magnetic.
why
I
are they
think-
putting synthetic metals in you? Like, bro, like that shit.
Pick up your phone.
What's your ringtone, baby?
I think people have different experiences with the vaccine. Like you see how for you it was like really intense. For me, I got it and then my arm was just obviously sore and they told you that, oh no, your arm is gonna be sore. And then I just slept. Like I slept, I think I got it maybe in the morning at like 11. After COVID, yes. After I got COVID, I got my vaccine. And then I just slept from the morning until the next day. And that was that. So for me, it wasn't like hot flashes or... I just slept.
I didn't get anything. Like I got because I got the Pfizer, so I had 2 jabs. The first one, I got it and I was just like fine. Like I was fine. And then even the second jab, I was like,
It's
it was like, it was like the arm, it was like my arm was sore, but
That's that.
I didn't have no
Okay,
symptoms.
I've got a question. I don't know if you guys remember, though. I think it was grade 11, but there was a book called The Mark.
Yeah.
Remember that book about
About that dystopian.
Dystopian World, right?
When people started getting vaccines, I started to think that I actually believe that they're doing this to like track your location, like not
Type
like,
of thing.
not,
Oh,
not,
like-
not to
like,
not
yeah.
to know where you are, but to know how like the amount of
Where you are
people
when they need you.
and the amount of people that
Actually,
are actually on planet Earth.
Talking on that, right?
Because my personal opinion is that listen, there's 8 billion people now. There's 8 billion people. Supposedly 8 billion people, but there has to be people that they don't touch, like the people who are cannibalistic. Like there's no way they're gonna go track those people and find out there's 100,000 of them or there's 100,000 in anywhere else. So that's why I thought that when they brought the vaccine, it was it was just to check like how many human beings are really on the planet.
Just to add on that, like that's pretty weird because around, especially like close to the end of like the pandemic. No. This was like matric, so the pandemic was still there, right? Like literally, there were people who were wearing like green.
The census people.
I don't know.
Those
Is
that
it them?
count people.
Bro, what?
Yeah.
They actually
Yeah.
came into the crib and actually asked, "Yo, how many people live here?"
Those are South African
It's a
statistics.
thing that happens.
Yeah.
So I'm
Every
saying, like,
4 or 5 years,
So you
right?
think
That's
you could add on
pretty. That's pretty
that? And
possible.
to add on what he
that's
said
because
as
there was a
well.
lot of things Sorry.
Don't they do the census like every couple of years though?
Bro, that was the first time they've done it at my crib.
No, but they
No,
do it
it's
all the
happened.
time.
They do have.
Oh, me, like I'm like genuine.
Like at your house.
Yeah, I know.
I'm sorry.
Like
Haven't
even
seen for the
me,
first time.
Weird as fuck.
mine,
Why
Why
Mine-
are you accounting?
mine was in 2020. Mine was in first year though. They came to our apartment in first year, and they came and they asked us like, they said,
What's the
yeah, they came.
Average essay is important.
They just want to see the
why-
average.
Why are you counting how many people live in my house?
They just want to see the average
Can't I
amount
tell you how
of
many
people in the
live in my
household.
house? No, can't I tell you how many
Do you
people
have a
live in my house?
fugitive in your house, sweetie?
No, but how many
What's
people?
going
No.
on?
If you're gonna like
none of your business.
yeah, it's like none of your
technically,
business
yeah.
how
Why
many people
is
in
it
my
none of your
crib.
business?
No,
We live in
guys,
a
it
country,
is.
guys.
They just want to see how many.
Okay,
an
okay,
average.
okay.
How
Why
many
though?
people?
An average.
Guys,
Okay,
that
sharp,
information
an
is
average.
used in
An
industries
average,
such as the
Yeah.
property industry.
Okay, I hear that.
Bring
I
out
hear
the
that.
So
They need to.
we do
Bring out the
fully,
classroom
fully,
stats.
Fully, I hear that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they need
sharp,
to put, like-
sharp.
Yeah, that's why they
Sharp.
Reserve-
Let's say I live in a 2-bedroom, but there's 7 of us, and 5 of us are in the house at the time.
Of course, I'm not gonna tell you.
So what? Now they counting 2 of us.
It's not like it's illegal
Don't
to
they
have
ask?
like.
Don't they ask you how many people live here? Like,
Okay, but
don't they ask you?
what if I don't want you to know how many people live in my house?
Why?
Then that's
what I'm
on
saying. Are
you.
you holding a fugitive?
No, I'm not
That's
holding a
your
fugitive, but why do you need to know how many people are in my crib?
Then that's on you. If you don't want to, then that's on you. Like, we can't-
Why they do supply like what do you call it? They do count. What do you call it? The amount of like births that they've been at the hospital and stuff. Why don't they use those stats?
The thing is, numbers are proportional.
And then-
Yes. So you can't really keep track who's coming in of the country and who's leaving. Do you know what I mean? Because you have things like, you have people like illegal immigrants who just pay at the border and are undocumented.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Stuff
Also,
like that.
in days like these, we have things that like we have non-hospital births. You know, we have home births. We have people who are very cultural who refuse to go to Western. You know what I mean? So like we do need to keep count.
Do they go?
Child that was born a few days before.
Do the census people go to the villages? Like,
Yes, they
I
do.
think so.
They do. They do.
Villages that are known of. Let me say that.
I know
Can
about
I
that
ask
one.
a,
yeah.
Can I ask? Like how was the change, guys? Like how was your how did you guys adapt to the change of being in a pandemic?
What was the
It was weird for me.
No,
because
like being like indoors, like
What was the
24/7.
change?
Yeah, I genuinely enjoyed it. Like,
What was
I
the
didn't
change?
feel anything.
Yeah, it was the same.
I really
Like I
didn't.
don't.
Nah, I hated it.
But what I can really say is that time of the pandemic when we were all in the house and stuff, that was literally the perfect opportunity.
To start the podcast.
No, well, yeah, like to boom social media wise. Do you know what I mean?
Because everyone was on
the
their
biggest
phones.
YouTubers, well, I
got
can't
bigger that time.
Yeah,
There was
do you
a
know
lot
what
of
I
activity
mean?
both
Like,
on
So
YouTube
that
and
time
everywhere
was
else.
so perfect.
Started in
It was so
Do you guys
perfect.
know you know like that podcast Shits and Gigs?
It started there.
Yeah.
That's the first time I actually saw them like that
Do
March.
you, like, do you know what I mean?
And after that, they just keep skyrocketing.
Also, like the boys are say, just like, did they start? Did they?
No, they didn't. I don't think they started during COVID, but
think
they
they
gained
Yeah.
popularity during.
Yeah,
But
Ghost Review started during
if also
COVID.
being honest, like hear me out.
Wait.
Hear me out. Like
Yeah.
like it was nice being at home. Like being at home, bang. Like,
Yeah.
Don't get it twisted. Like being at home, playing PlayStation every day,
Literally, bro.
sleeping
Just
at
wake
6
up,
a.m.
game,
But like,
sleep.
don't lie. It made you stagnant as a human being. Like,
Exactly.
You know what it, you know
it literally.
you know what it
literally-
had me thinking.
And
guys?
especially, sorry, I just want
No,
to
of course,
finish my
of
point. Especially for us, at the stage of our life where we're in grade 11.
Yeah.
So it was like just before matric. So we needed that we needed literal, we needed to be in school. We needed that exposure with teachers. But then it was literally like, you don't get exposure for a whole year. Next thing you know, you're in matric. And then
That's
matric,
crazy.
they bringing you back to, like, you're coming back to sitting in class and you're like, bro, I'm not used to this thing. Like,
Yeah, it's
I'm
that
used
weird
to,
time warp.
I'm used to like, cheating.
Yeah.
Can
I'm-
I add something by you?
You can.
I think that part like literally showed you how useless the educational system is, because even though we missed all of us missed a whole year of school. Not really the primary kids, but all of us missed a whole year of school. We're still good. Do you understand what I mean? Like all the work that they
Not
keep
necessarily.
pushing
No,
into
but
us.
but they had to what do you
Not
call it?
So you think
Listen, like
No,
for
no,
instance,
no. They always
yeah,
say they have to
like
listen.
like the pass mark was reduced, the workload was also reduced.
Okay.
Every-
Was the pass mark reduced?
Yeah.
I think
It
so. It
was.
went from 40 to 30, no?
Math was 30% pass mark, dog.
Yeah, it was
There
always.
wasn't. There's
No, it wasn't
No,
always
it
30.
wasn't.
But
There's
also,
no way it was
you
always
must, you must
30.
remember that
That's
Benoni
cap.
High was on its own track. Its own.
No. I'm saying as a nation.
Yeah.
Those
No, but in public. No, what I'm trying to prove here is like the
my fault.
educational system is a mess because things like Benoni High will literally extend school by an hour because we have so much work to do. But our peers in other schools who are doing the same things they also a semi-private school. You know, they didn't need to do all of those things. So the education that they push into us, all these things, matrix, we have so much work to do. The work we had to do during COVID at home, I didn't touch. Look at me now.
But
I just-
honestly, I feel like they did that so that we
Keep stimulated.
no, we have enough time to cover the work. You know what I mean? Because first of all, when you get to class, you walk into class, you're 10 minutes late.
10 minutes, well,
You know what I mean?
Oaks
So
are
you get there and you're just like,
talking, them trying to
you know,
keep
you're
you
talking,
quiet,
got somebody for you.
But Omar, I
It's a
think what
whole
Omar's trying to
argument.
say is that
You know what I mean? Like,
it's not as effective as it's not
I think
effective.
almost trying to say it wasn't necessary.
It wasn't
yeah, it wasn't
Yeah.
necessary because we still got pushed anyways.
Yeah.
Can I?
Also,
Can I?
also like during you're saying that we're not like productive and everything. When they extended the school day, we were even worse.
Okay,
What do
true.
you mean you're
Yeah.
sitting in a class? Exactly.
For
What do you
50
mean you're
minutes,
sitting in a
innit?
class doing maths? Afrikaans at the
And
end of
then
the
like 2
day.
periods.
Like you don't understand. Like you're not there. So it didn't matter.
I also want to say, like, add on to what you said about the time warp. Like, last time I checked, I was 16, now I'm turning 20. Like, does that make sense to anyone? I feel like it was just so, like, drastic. Like, no, wait. I'm still in high school. What do you mean I'm in second year varsity? Like, I was crazy.
Also, what I wanted to say, remember when you were saying that our life was stagnant at the time? I'm not an anxious person. I'm very calm. I'm very chilled, you know. So I became very anxious in that time because I realized how much like life really isn't in our control.
Yeah.
Like literally, from now on, they could literally say we're in the house
Stop,
for the
yeah,
rest of
leave
our lives.
everything,
Like
yeah,
this is what
and
we're
this is how
doing.
it's
You know what I
gonna
mean?
happen,
And we can say nothing.
can't say
The
No.
government literally runs us. Even if COVID is a lie, we can have this conversation right now. We're having this conversation because they're allowing us to have this conversation. We could still be in the house right now. Do you understand? So it
just
made me
told you that
really
the
like
life
it
is not
really,
really in your
yeah,
control.
it made me
That,
think
that's,
about
that's I think
things.
that's that's where I'm coming from in terms of why I think this COVID thing ain't that real. Because like first of all, a pandemic, you see a pandemic. So we didn't see dead people. We didn't see hospitals fill as they thought as they say.
Because
it
we were
may.
inside.
We didn't see.
But the thing is, we
Okay, but like
It's a
Leongo,
pandemic. Whether you're inside or not, you should be able to
Leongo,
see it. Like
Leongo,
you guys don't. Like, you guys
Which
don't get it.
pandemic did you see?
I didn't see a pandemic. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, except for the ones on TV. Which ones did you see?
I don't
What
get
he's trying to
it.
say is a
Like, no,
pandemic
he's
doesn't have
using-
to be
I think-
announced.
I think-
Did you see people
I think-
dying
I
on the
think-
floor?
I'm saying no. I'm saying a pandemic. A pandemic that doesn't have to be marketed. Like this pandemic was like
Okay,
it was
fine.
pushed. It was
Okay,
marketed on television.
Lubong was basically saying that there was a lot of propaganda around it.
like
we
you're
all
saying-
know that. We all
you're saying we
all
don't-
know that
like
that's
they-
the media's job.
Like if
Leon was
they
point-
didn't tell us, we wouldn't
Leon
have
was
done.
pointing this. I think because if
Yeah.
you guys remember grade 3, there was Ebola.
Yeah.
Ebola was worse than
But it wasn't a pandemic.
it was a pandemic.
They didn't make why is okay, don't
Ebola
ask
was a
yourself, why was
pandemic.
it a pandemic then?
Ebola was a pandemic.
Guys, listen.
Did they lock
It
us
was
down?
it didn't spread across the
away.
world. It was
I
in
swear it
Central
did.
Africa.
I swear it spread across the world.
Didn't.
Okay, guys, I've got a question. I've got a question.
My
So,
apologies, I'm not a- I
is it
apologize
weird
for
to
that.
conclude that you know how? Okay, first question: where did the virus start?
Okay,
Which
well,
country? Just
Wuhan.
they say it's China.
Right.
They say it's China.
Okay, fine. So, nah, which capital city was it where they had to wear like face masks and stuff?
Hiro something.
No.
Was that not Beijing? Was that not an Asian
From
country?
the beginning, or like talking about COVID?
No,
All the time.
from like the smoke
It
population.
was somewhere
and
in
stuff.
Asia.
It was in Asia, right? I find it really weird that they were so conditioned way before
It's
the
the-
COVID
But isn't
story
it because
started.
of like the air quality?
Oksalayo, they were Oksalayo, they were conditioned to wear face masks. So at some point
And they still do.
It was planned.
in the timeline, it was gonna happen. That we
Yeah.
were all
China
in
still
the
has its
entire
own lockdowns here and there to this day.
Yeah, like sometimes you hear they try and say there's a new virus, be aware.
No, but-
Me, I don't even listen anymore.
But let's
And
be
then they
brut-
say
if we're
booster
being-
shots.
If we're being brutally honest, China's got a population of 1 billion people, guys. So
Yeah.
like, they need to. If we're being honest, they need to reduce the population because they are eating a
That's
fair
why they're
amount of
doing
the
that
population.
one-child policy.
That's
they
why.
have
That's why.
one-child policies.
But one child policy now it's not working because you can say, listen, you have one child, but you're telling me now if I have another child, what you're gonna obviously you there's legislations put in place, but it's like
Do they kill the
the
child
child
if
is
they
really
have-
born.
Before they used to.
okay.
But now you can't. Like it's human rights. You can't just kill a human being.
Yeah.
You cannot
It's a
just kill.
sort of punishment.
Rights are all in South Africa.
Yeah, we have the most. Like.
Okay,
We
so
have like the best.
all right, guys.
Yeah, but it just doesn't. They don't.
So you guys can hear that there's two opposing sides to this, and I don't think we'll ever reach like a conclusion. But yeah, or a census or whatever. So yeah, guys, thank you for watching the show. Hope you guys like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends to tell their friends, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Amen. ASMR.
Fake.